Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Revealing the Narc, and on this channel we dive deep into the intriguing world of narcissism. I'll often use public figures as examples to illustrate how these behaviors can manifest in real life. If this sounds interesting to you, please like and subscribe. And I should mention, anything I talk about or say is in my opinion, and any theories or hypotheticals, these are all allegedly. So let's get into this video. Just today, an article was released in the Daily Mail titled "Meghan and Harry's Baby Announcement Stole Princess Eugenie's Thunder on Her Wedding Day, and the Bride's Mother Was Said to Be Furious." So let's do a little backtrack on events that led up to this wedding. Also, I should say, the bride's mother had a right to be furious. The bride's sister had a right to be furious. The bride had a right to be furious. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So, just to rewind, Meghan and Harry got married in May of 2018, and just 5 months later, in October of 2018, that's when Princess Eugenie got married. Now, I've always wondered what events led up to this happening. And actually, that is based on the assumption that Meghan is a narcissist and she took out narcissistic revenge by announcing her baby's existence. And I say that because there's not a single person in the world who would find this appropriate behavior. You can't naively claim that announcing your pregnancy at a wedding is an appropriate thing to do. It's not. It's rude. That's the bride's special day. And reverse the roles. How would Meghan act about it? If it had happened to Meghan, it would be over the front pages of the newspapers the next day. And I don't think we ever heard about it. What we heard was like the next day or the day after, where it was announced publicly. So before we get into the article that was printed in the Daily Mail, I want to talk about a couple of incidents that occurred in or around that time that could cause Meghan to be offended, to be hurt, to not get her way, resulting in this desire for this narcissistic revenge. The first of these was about the tiara that Princess Eugenie wore, and I found this article that said Meghan Markle reportedly wanted to wear Princess Eugenie's $13 million wedding tiara, but Queen Elizabeth II refused. And if I'm not mistaken, this is either the most expensive or one of the most expensive tiaras in Queen Elizabeth's collection. We all know that Queen Elizabeth II was a reasonable person, so there must be a reasonable experience for this to have happened. And further evidence of this is that Queen Elizabeth II gave Meghan freedoms that no other girlfriend or fiancé or future bride had ever gotten. The former monarch allegedly said the tiara, which is one of the most expensive in the royal collection, was tied to controversy. Meghan Markle's royal wedding look evoked understated elegance, yet the tiara that she wore, Queen Mary's diamond bandeau tiara, gave her custom Givenchy dress a bit of glitz and glam. According to the UK-based fine jewelry retailer Steve Stone, the royal family heirloom wasn't her first choice for her big day accessory. Instead, the Duchess of Sussex allegedly had her eye on an emerald-studded headpiece, the same one that Princess Eugenie would wear 5 months later. Queen Elizabeth II, however, rejected Meghan's request. Fine jewelry expert Maxwell Stone explained that when Meghan looked through the former monarch's collection of tiaras at Buckingham Palace for her special wedding accessory, she originally picked a crown covered in emeralds and diamonds. Queen Elizabeth quickly shut down her chosen design, providing the reasoning that it was tied to controversy. Thought to have come from Russia, the headpiece is said to have found its way into the collection through undefined channels, Stone said. So this is the explanation that we're given in this article. There is some other information that I read somewhere else, and we'll get to that soon. Stone explained that Meghan's initial selection, which was unknown at the time, was has actually been identified as the Greyville Emerald Coco Chinik tiara, the very same crown that Princess Eugenie wore on the day of her wedding. The sparkling accessory features rose-cut pave diamonds and 6 emeralds, with a 93.7 carat cabochon-cut emerald in the middle, set in platinum. I have zero idea what I just said. Okay, so the headpiece was commissioned by Boucheron in 1919 for Dame Margaret Helene Greville, a British society hostess and philanthropist who was friends with the Queen Mother. Margaret gave the piece to her friend, who passed it down to her daughter, Queen Elizabeth. So it looks like this reason about it might be tried to controversial things seems to not be true, and that was a conversation that happened between Meghan Markle and Queen Elizabeth, and allegedly Queen Elizabeth told her, the crown you want is controversial, you can't have that one. And now it's coming out that that's not the case. So I'm inclined to believe that Queen Elizabeth II didn't say that this crown is tied to controversial needs. And I think Meghan would have motive to say that, because it creates this idea that there are things that are in the royal vaults that have been taken or purchased, or however you want to say it, through means that are controversial. So I did some searching on Quora and I came across this thread. The question is, why didn't Queen Elizabeth II allow Meghan Markle to wear her first choice of an emerald tiara for her wedding? The question was answered. The tiara that Meghan wanted appears she demanded, and with Harry saying Meghan wants, Meghan gets. He was then slapped down by the Queen, who told him she gets what I offer, and because it had already been promised to Princess Eugenie for Princess Eugenie's wedding. It was apparently the Queen's prerogative not to allow the same pieces to be used in succession, so she was offered a choice of 5 others. The Queen would have been perfectly entitled to have not offered anything at all. After all, they are either her own personal jewels or state jewels for her to use within her keeping. Here's just another tidbit about the history of the tiara. You can pause and read it, but I'm going to continue with the video. So that was what was called Tiara Gate, and I wonder why Meghan wanted that tiara so bad. Let me show you a couple of pictures. So what do you all think? Do you think it's because it was one of the most or the most expensive tiara in the collection? Do you think it's because of this signature Princess Diana look where she took a choker and wore it as a headband? I'd love to know in the comments your opinions, so leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think. The next article I want to talk about is titled Princess Eugenie has been forced to delay her wedding because of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. So I'm going to tell you right now, we always hear that because Prince Harry had seniority over Princess Eugenie, his wedding would go first. According to this article, though, it had more to do with scheduling. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were meant to go on an international tour that was supposed to be in September, and that somehow conflicted. But we'll get into all of that right now. However, seeing as the pregnancy announcement came in October, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to say it, but maybe there's a reason the wedding was rushed, or maybe there were games that were played prior to Meghan and Harry's wedding, allegedly. This article starts off. Princess Eugenie of York and her partner Jack Brooksbank announced their engagement this week, with Buckingham Palace stating their wedding will take place in the autumn of this year, which in England is between September and November. Now, a new report has surfaced which says Princess Eugenie originally had plans for a September wedding, but might be forced to push her big day back to October due to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. As per the Daily Mail, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may be on a royal tour during September, so Princess Eugenie is likely to opt for October. So I'm going to be doing some sleuthing as we're going through all of this. I wanted to see when the official wedding date for Harry and Meghan was announced, and it was December 15, 2017. So if this was a rushed wedding due to a pregnancy, I don't think it would have been. I don't think you could announce in December that you're going to have a May wedding because you believe there might be a pregnancy. Actually, you know what? I kind of take that back. If it's possible for a due date to be prior to May 19 of the following year, potentially what you could be trying to do is have the baby prior to the wedding, maybe in secret. But then that would be obvious. Everyone would know what's going on. Alternatively, I had read somewhere that allegedly someone overheard Harry say to Meghan, "Are you actually pregnant this time?" I'm not going to read this whole thing from Cora, but feel free to pause and read it. I'm just going to read one portion of it. It says, "It was said when in Australia that the staff overheard them yelling and he wanted to know if she was ever pregnant." So Australia came after they left Princess Eugenie's wedding. It was like the same day or the next day, and it was in Australia that they announced their pregnancy. So that's interesting. That leads me down a whole new pathway where could she have faked and lied and said she was pregnant to seek revenge on Eugenie at her own wedding, and Harry found out about it within a couple of days, allegedly? Let me know what you all think. So also during this browsing, I found this other article from 2022 where the title is "Meghan indirectly blamed for feeding Eugenie's hunger for publicity," and it's in a book. And the book they're talking about is Tom Bower's Revenge. The couple, and here they're talking about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, chose to marry outside of London following the path of Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, rather than Prince William and Princess Catherine, Princess Diana and King Charles now, or Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, who are all married at the capital. And one thing, it's such a little nugget that I remember, but I believe that the biggest difference between Princess Diana's wedding to King Charles was that it was done at St. Paul's Cathedral, whereas most other royal weddings in London are done in Westminster Abbey. And I think that this was because their wedding was going to be so huge that they needed a larger area, and St. Paul's Cathedral was perfect for it. Months later, Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank had their own royal wedding on October 12, 2018, and mirrored many of the details of the Sussex nuptials. I don't know. A wedding is a wedding, right? And if it's a royal wedding, like, how much variation could there really be? Right? I mean, the centerpieces? I don't know. You guys drop it in the comments if you think anything about this. And I guess where this is going is that maybe Meghan was upset about how similar Princess Eugenie's wedding was to her own. I mean, that's kind of what I feel the implications are, but you guys let me know in the comments. The venue again was St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle, and the wedding made the front pages of British newspapers. Bower wrote, "Guilt by association extended to Buckingham Palace's announcement that Princess Eugenie's marriage to Jack Brooksbank would mirror Meghan's ceremony." So I'm not really sure what that last part means, but in summary, what's being said is that both Harry and Meghan and Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank were married at Windsor Castle at St. George's Chapel. They both had carriage rides, and that maybe there was some similarity there. I don't know. I'm curious to know all of your thoughts though. Like, do you think they can really, if the location is the same, how much variation in a wedding do you think there can be? Please drop it in the comments. Okay, now we're ready to get into the article, but let's summarize. So there was some conflict over the tiara. So Meghan may have felt slighted that she was not able to wear the emerald tiara, and this tiara may hold special significance allegedly because of Princess Diana and that beautiful emerald choker that she wore as a headband. The other thing could be the dates of the wedding. Maybe that caused some conflict, but I don't think that could be, because I think Princess Eugenie's wedding announcement didn't go out till January, and the date was already chosen December for Harry and Meghan. But if I'm wrong about that, please correct me. And then I think the final thing was that the weddings were similar. They were held in the same place, and perhaps there were similarities between the two. So in my opinion, based on all of this, I could see reason that Meghan would have some thoughts of revenge on Eugenie. And there are also things that may not have made it to the press. Let's also remember that Meghan was friends with Princess Eugenie before, in quotations, she met Prince Harry, allegedly. Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooks Banks' wedding was a regal event where royals and celebrities celebrated together. Oh my gosh, you guys can correct me again if I'm wrong, but wasn't Jack Brooksbanks in a partnership with George Clooney for a wine that was basically merged at Harry and Meghan's wedding? I don't remember if it was Princess Eugenie's or Princess Beatrice's husband that had that partnership. So there could be even some business dealings that could have flared up Meghan's narcissistic rage or anger or jealousy. Again, I could be completely wrong. I probably should fact check this stuff before I start talking, but the thoughts come in my head, and if I don't say it out loud, I'm gonna forget it. And plus, it makes you guys active, right? You get to comment, and I get to read what you have to say. So all in all, it's a win-win, I think. The article continues. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were thrilled for the couple and had even postponed the departure of their royal tour to Australia to attend the ceremony, Harry wrote in Spare. Okay, that doesn't make sense, because they were supposed to be going in September and this wedding was in October. And they literally left for Australia the day after the wedding. The Duke and Duchess also used the joyous get-together surrounding the marriage in 2018 as an opportunity to share their own good news. Selfishly, they were pregnant with their first child, Archie, and though some were delighted, the timing of their announcement to family members left others a little disgruntled. I don't see how everybody wasn't disgruntled. I bet you everybody was disgruntled. The various gatherings connected to the wedding would give us a chance to pull aside family members one by one and tell them our good news, Harry wrote. If you're going to tell them one by one, why do you need to do it when everyone's together? You're going to tell them one by one. So go visit their houses the next day one by one. It's ridiculous. It is so, oh my gosh, these two. Don't they see it? And I honestly don't think Harry was the one going around and saying everything. I bet you Meghan was the one going around saying anything, and Meghan complained that she was being bullied now in the press, and the whole family thinks that it was her fault. So Harry, what is that saying called? He fell on his sword for her, and he's saying that maybe he started it. I don't know. Okay, let's continue reading. The article continues. They told Prince Charles shortly before Eugenie and Jack's drinks reception at Windsor while he was in his study. Charles was delighted to learn that he was going to be a grandfather for the fourth time, Harry wrote. The Duke and Duchess also informed Prince William later on after the drinks reception, and then Princess Catherine, who congratulated them. Is this why this article is coming out? To tell us it didn't happen during the ceremony? To tell us that it was Prince Harry going around telling people? It sounds a little suspicious, and why is this article being printed now? I'm not sure if any of this information is new. The The article continues. Mail Online reported at the time how the Queen and Prince Philip were also told in person at the wedding celebrations. However, the news coming at the same time as the bride and groom celebrations was not welcomed by everyone in the royal family. Many wondered why Meghan chose to reveal her news on the bride's big day. Tom Bauer wrote in his book Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. Well, I can think of a couple of reasons why Meghan chose to reveal her news on the bride's big day. And I think after we're done reading this article, I'll give you three. 3 reasons why a narcissist would try to take center stage at someone else's wedding. Eugenie and her mother, Sarah Ferguson, were particularly displeased by the timing and were said to be furious, as they have every right to be. And I imagine Princess Beatrice was also furious. Meghan put her foot in it when she decided that it would be the ideal moment to announce that she and Harry were expecting their first child. Yes, she did. And she did it on purpose. And she knew she would have backlash, but she didn't care. She knew that she would face harsh criticism, but as long as she was able to hurt someone for whatever reason, she did it anyways. And this is why I believe she is a malignant narcissist. It doesn't matter even if it results in them causing pain or discomfort or embarrassment to themselves. As long as their target has their day ruined, it was all worth it. The article continues. Harry and Meghan's official baby announcement to the public was released by Kensington Palace days later on October 15, 2018. And it was shortly after this that witnesses heard Harry telling Meghan, "Are you actually pregnant?" So that's pretty funny. Okay, so let's continue. It said, "The Royal Highnesses, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are very pleased to announce the Duchess of Sussex is expecting a baby in the spring of 2019. Their Royal Highnesses have appreciated all of the support they have received from people around the world since their wedding in May and are delighted to be able to share this happy news with the public." Can you imagine? My mind just went there, and I'm sorry I'm stumbling over my words because I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red, guys. So she announces the pregnancy at someone else's wedding, and a couple of days later, her husband is heard asking her, "Are you actually pregnant?" So could she, allegedly, her husband asked her that, could she have lied to people's faces to get revenge on someone on their wedding day? And you know what? I would believe it. I actually think that's the more likely scenario of what happened here. What do you all think? I mean, and these are all in my opinion, and it's all allegedly, but the more I read about her, the more I learn about her, the more she reminds me of my stepmom, and my stepmom is a malignant narcissist. I think this is why this is also important to me, because I didn't realize my stepmom was a malignant narcissist until 2 years ago, and up until then I could never understand why. Why did she hate me so much? Why did she behave that way? Why was she, my whole life, practically, this woman has been so cruel to me. And I could never understand. But really, evil exists in this world. And one form of evil is a malignant narcissist. Okay, this is the last part of the article. However, speculation over a possible pregnancy began before the official announcement, which was made by Kensington Palace 3 days after Eugenie's wedding. Mail Online reported how Meghan wore a wide-fitting Givenchy coat to the surface, and her husband was also spotted repeatedly rubbing her lower back. Okay, I don't know about the lower back thing. I'm not sure, but the dress, she only buttoned the top 2 buttons, and she purposely tried to get this started in the media. This was all done on purpose. Whether she was really pregnant or not, this was orchestrated. Let's talk about a couple of motivations. I know I told you I would give you 3. I'm going to give you 4 reasons I think Meghan Markle may have done this. And let's begin. So I think the first is obvious: attention seeking. She craves the spotlight. She couldn't handle someone else had the spotlight. So announcing her pregnancy during this high profile event ensures that she captures not only significant media attention, but royal family attention. It's sick. The second is competitive nature. So being in the royal family can involve competition for attention and status. By making a major announcement, she might have sought to assert her significance within the family. She could be manipulating emotions. So this announcement can invoke strong emotions, drawing sympathy and excitement from those that are present. This can reinforce her social standing and position as a beloved figure. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about this. This is what she believes would happen, that people would be so excited and this is such wonderful news. The actuality of what happens is, wow, I can't believe she did that. I said this earlier today, or earlier in this video, I doubt there was a single person at that wedding that didn't think this was inappropriate. Why would Meghan do this? And finally, it could be shifting focus. So let's say if she was having negative press around her, she could have announced the pregnancy to serve as a distraction. And ultimately, I think the underlying reason, like what's bubbling beneath the surface, is this envy or this jealousy of something that happened between the two of them. And it could have been the tiara, it could have been the wedding dates, it could have been using the same church and maybe having a similar ceremony. I don't know. But I would be excited to know how you all think. This is, I think, the longest video I've ever done. And actually, when I watch YouTubers, I really like the long videos because I know I'm going to have a half an hour or an hour of content to listen to, and I get excited about that. I'm wondering how you all feel about it. So if you could drop in the comments whether you like this longer type YouTube video. And yeah, so if this was interesting to you, I encourage you to like and subscribe, share it with your friends. I really appreciate this because this causes my videos to get out there, and it's also a good thing for the algorithm, so it'll promote my video to people that are randomly searching on YouTube. And I just want to thank you all for listening. I can't wait to talk to you all again. Goodbye.